Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 3 of my what if Deku was a girl. Well, the only girl with a quirk. In the last part, I did the sports festival, and I ended it by saying that in this episode I would say where they are going. Basically, everyone is going to the exact same place except Tokoyami that is sent to Gran Torino, and Midoriya, Izumi, that will go to um, Endeavor's agency because he basically decided that he was going to try and make Izumi and Shoto be together, for the simple reason that a girl with a extremely powerful quirk that was able to beat my son. Perfect for powerful grandchild. So she did go there, but only to try and put, Endeavor back in his place. So the quirks she has now, Izumi has now, are her normal gigantification, earth control, which is gravity, but she doesn't know yet. And the 5 quirks that she has copied are basically the plant quirk, that, like I said, she will keep forever because it is her favorite quirk. It's basically the one thing she trained the most, so she will never basically let go of it. She exchanged Bakugo's quirk for Mirio's quirk. She has hardening, shock absorption, and regeneration. At some point, I think I'm going to give her more slots for her copy quirk, but it might be in this episode. I'm not doing any promises, but we'll see. Because this episode is not with any script. It's just because the same guy asked me like twice already for this. It was supposed to come out tomorrow. But yeah. So when Shoto and Izumi arrived to Endeavor's agency, before they even arrived there, Shoto asked Izumi if she's with someone, which kind of gets nervous and says, yes, but please don't tell anyone in class. I'm with Bakugo. Which he says, good. Please tell this to my dad as soon as possible, because... And then Endeavor basically comes out of the agency running and directly asks her, marry my son. Well, not even asking her, kind of just telling her to obey and do it. Which she basically says no. Then he started a rant on, if you make a child together, you can have a baby that is extremely powerful and can beat All Might. Hate, blah blah blah. Then Izumi says, I'm already with someone. Your son is nice, but no. And I'm not going to do it because his deadbeat father asked me to do it either. He gets angry. Shoto tries to calm him down. he decides he just because he kind of just went on instinct. He basically attacked Izumi. After doing that, other heroes basically went to calm him, and he basically got punched with a hit that was basically her extending her arm, hardening it, and basically augmenting the size of it all at the same time, which gave a massive punch, which basically blew him away. Like, literally blew him away. She was completely nude after that, because she used permeation just before he attacked, and her clothes burned. Basically, she was on the ground completely nude and basically screaming to not look, with basically every hero, well, every guy's looking away. A girl basically covering her up with something and saying, come, come, come inside. Endeavor started, well, other heroes tried to find where Endeavor landed, well, looked where he ended, and basically told him, why the hell did you attack her? With Shoto basically saying, because she called him a deadbeat dad. Over because I wouldn't say anything. So he basically told him, you better marry her. She's already strong enough to do that. What would a kid between you two do? Which he basically screamed at him. The only reason I'm here is because she has told me that she was going to come here and that she didn't want her to be alone with you. I would have gone with someone else if I had the chance. Anyway, she has a boyfriend, he's in class, and he's also stronger than me. So if you try anything, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die. With some heroes basically saying, are you sure about that? And with Izumi just screaming in the background, yes, he's that crazy. So basically, Endeavor didn't try anything after that, even though he would love to do it. But yeah. So in the end, what happened was that when they started the training, basically what they did was Izumi was using hardening to train it, as well as her giantism, well, gigantification, with Shoto shooting fire and ice at her. His dad tried to come and say, I'm happy you're using your flames, and when he said that, Izumi basically said, don't do anything like trying to make him happy by saying stuff that you want, or I'm hitting you again. Which he kind of backed off because he kind of already did something he should not have done by trying to hit her. So hearing that he tried to do that again might not be a good reputation over UA and everyone else. So she basically trained hardening, permeation, and her regeneration and shock absorption. Shoto just trained like normal, got a little bit stronger as well since he wasn't training with his dad. So he was going and he knew she could take it. So he didn't went out of frustration on someone. He was basically just trying to go as far as possible without actually trying to hurt her. He knew that if her hardening wasn't strong enough, he could harm her, and he didn't want that compared to harming his dad. So his flames did get a lot stronger because, and his eyes as well. Then the night of the patrol, Izumi knew about what Ida was having, told it to Shoto, and Shoto basically said to his dad, "We're going to go see if other people need help or kill Nomus in other places." Which he kind of just told them, fine. So they basically left and went to look for Ida, which they found him. When they found him, he was about to be killed by the hero killer, but Izumi basically controlled the ground just under the asphalt and basically made a wall around Stain. Stain tried to come out, which at some point he did, but Izumi and Shoto were basically already running, with Izumi having grown one of her hand to hold both Ida and the hero that was with him. So the hero killer started running after them. Ida basically screamed at them, which afterward Izumi said, "You can't do anything over revenge. A hero saves people. He doesn't take revenge. What you did was not hero-like. You only used your anger to do anything right now. We are here to help you because it's the right thing to do." After hearing that, he just saw her and Shoto as actually good heroes because he was basically telling the same discourse as her, but basically they were doing the same discourse at the same time. He was able to stop them, told them that that they can live. They are actually good heroes, well, true heroes, but that those two must die. Which Izumi basically, for the first time, talked loud enough for him to hear that she is a girl, also look at her correctly, and he was like, "Interesting. I didn't know, I thought girls couldn't have quirks. You must be unique. And you try to be a hero. That's a good thing." Basically starting to go over to finish the job with Ida, which she basically augmented the size of her hand and made a massive hardening around it, and grabbed the hero killer and told him, "I'm not opening my hand until heroes arrive. Heroes that can take you." Which he says, "If I can't move, at least make sure that it is clear you only tried to help a hero that asked for help." Which, in this one, let's just say they arrive that the hero was still conscious, and he basically and when other heroes arrived, he basically said that yes, he asked for help and that they only did what he asked them to do. So the credits still did go to um, Izumi and Shoto because they were able to stop the hero killer, and that under the order of a hero. So they had the permission to do it. When during that time, without knowing, she saw that his quirk, she thought that his quirk was basically something that just made you unable to move if he does something, because Ida was able to talk, but he talked about blood. And she said that this quirk would be amazing if she knew how it worked. Which I've decided that yes, over time she unlocked more slots for her copy quirk. During the 2 weeks, and not the 2 weeks of training, but the week of training before the patrol, she was basically trying constantly to just think of the quirk she has and to look at them and think of the new move. But while she was looking at her slots and thinking a new move that she could make with fusing different quirks, she was constantly basically moving them, looking at them kind of mentally, and her quirk was basically being used to kind of see everything that it could do. And so in the end, it basically gave her more because she was constantly using it. I'm going to say that she got 2 more because even just normally using it basically was kind of augmenting it over time, but just not enough yet. And so that was kind of like just the last push that was needed. And she got 2 more from it. So she has Stain's quirk. She doesn't know at all about it. And I'm pretty sure she will just be looking at it at some point and just sees it. Because when she tries to look at her quirk, she basically see all of them for real. Like, it's not, okay, I know I have those, so I see them. It's, if I look at them, if I look at what I have, I see them. So, at some point, she's going to see that she also has Stain's quirk. And it's weird. So, yeah, that's going to happen later, that she's going to do that, because for a while she decided that the quirk she had were perfect and didn't need to be changed. So she decided to keep them and not look at anything for now. And so it basically happened that when they got back and were told about fighting the heroes, about the test they were going to do, they asked around. Izumi directly went to Mirio to ask about it. He said that they fought a robot, but that it can change sometime. Because he knows that another year they didn't fight robot, but something else, but he doesn't know what. And so When they arrived to do that, they found out that were fighting against Hero, and the only two difference this time is that Tokoyami and Bakugo are going to be exchanged. So Bakugo and Tsuyu versus the Phantom guy, and Izumi and Tokoyami versus All Might. Why I'm doing that is because I want All Might to fight against the user of One for All, but I also want Izumi to fight against All Might. So when their battle started, basically both of them started talking about how they could do it, and Izumi basically said that for her, she can probably get to the other side after a bit and without getting touched by All Might, but she's going. Well, they basically made the same type of costume as for um, Lemillion, Mirio. So her costume basically phases with her now. Um, so if she uses it, it's basically not going to make her nude for a while. So after a bit of talking, it started. Tokoyami decided to tell her that his quirks, yes, I say quirks, basically say he decided to tell them that, well, her, that it's a secret, but that he has a quirk that can boost his own strength multiple times, and that it isn't actually, let's say the lie he told was that if he wants to, he can kind of boost his strength by absorbing dark shadow in his body. He decided to tell her that in reality it's a quirk that boosts his body as well as his quirk, and that if he uses too much of it, he might break his body, and that if that happens, she has to bring him to the end. Because if that happens, it's basically going because he's going to go all out and make sure that All Might is knocked out. She didn't get that. Oh, it. Well, he talked about All Might when he talked about his quirk, but she didn't get the hint that it's All Might's quirk. Because he said, if I go all out, I will knock out All Might. It, it wasn't just like, I think I can knock him out. It was, I will knock him out. Because All Might knows that if he goes that if Tokoyami goes 100%, he will get one shot, but that Tokoyami will lose the use of his arm until it gets healed. So how the battle went was basically that she forced dirt from under the concrete to basically come out. She then um, made like 18 copy of them, so there's 20 kit in total, 10 of each. 2 of them are reals. And with the moss, she basically made them look exactly like the original. Because let's say she was finally able to get how to do it correctly. Also, this is where she's going to learn that she doesn't just control Earth as well. And you're going to see why. When it starts and that they start running, every one of them look exactly the same. She told Tokoyami to keep Dark Shadow hidden so that it doesn't look as if, well, so that it doesn't make it obvious. So while they're running, All Might does the same punch as in the anime. When All Might arrives, he basically just sees multiple of them. So he knows some of them are false. But he knows that two of them are real and that if he goes all out, he's probably going to kill them. So he has to control it. But he doesn't know how strong are the clones. So what he's thinking is basically that Izumi found a quirk and copied it that let her clone people. Because she told the class about what she could do, but All Might doesn't know about everything that she can do. He knows her quirks, but he doesn't know her moves. So when it starts, he basically just punched the ground strong enough to make a hole in it. And at the same time, it basically sends enough of a shock to basically destroy every clone and send Tokoyami and Izumi flying, hitting both of them in different cars, with All Might saying, "Ha, so I thought it would be they would be stronger. Too bad, heroes. Right now you're facing me, and I don't pull my punches." Izumi basically, they had let's say they had three different plans for if this one didn't work. So they passed to plan B, which basically Tokoyami goes 8%, places it around his body and Dark Shadow, and then puts Dark Shadow around his body like in the anime before the license exam, and goes straight for All Might. When he places Dark Shadow around his body, it's practically a 2% one for all on his body, so not really air pressure, but and not too time. It's basically a 50% boost to his from his normal strength to his body. That's more like it. Plus 2 times a 8% for both his body and Dark Shadow, which makes a great amount of strength, and he can hold that perfectly. So when hitting All Might with that, he's basically hitting him with the force of about 20% of a one for all, which is strong. All Might starts going and flying. He pushes himself with the same move that he did in the anime to propulse himself with a punch. Izumi basically grows to her giant size, makes hardening on her leg, and basically tries to kick him, which All Might basically gives a punch that basically pushes Izumi down, well, push her leg back and make her fall down, which she then goes back normal size. He then goes to try and hit her again, which they then go to plan C. She permeates through the ground, because what they thought was that he was going to go after Tokoyami if but he went after her, so she grew and tried to kick him away. So after that, she tried to get away. They started Plan C, which was basically Tokoyami running on by one side and Izumi going down in the ground to go on another. Which actually what she is doing is going to grow on the ground, then pushes herself back up and try to hit All Might with the full strength that it gives her. She basically lets herself fall for as long as she could while growing, and the moment she was full size and that she was starting to run out of air, she launches herself and Tokoyami basically got just out of where um, Izumi would come out of, but All Might was able to go as well like that, so when she came out, All Might just basically felt, well, All Might and Tokoyami basically felt the massive air pressure that Izumi made, which All Might was basically scared because if that would have hit him, he would have been out of commission for the day. So, after that, All Might punches Tokoyami literally through a wall, making him go near Izumi, and they're about halfway through the city at this point, but they have about 60% of the time passed as well. Basically thinking, okay, yeah, this is really bad. And then and then All Might starts going after Izumi, which Tokoyami basically starts using One for All and augmenting the string that he's using it constantly, practically breaking his bones, and Izumi starting to think, I need something to stop All Might, but dirt isn't strong enough. And then she basically places her hand around, tells Tokoyami to move, and only thinks everything needs to stop him. Well, anything needs to stop him, and when she moves her hand, All Might basically feels a massive amount of gravity pressure pressing on him, floating in the air, and multiple things around them. Piece of building, cars, and other stuff basically rams into All Might, pushing him away. And when all of them saw that and were basically like, what the hell? Because what happened is basically she took out piece of buildings, she unrooted trees, because I think there were some in the city, moved car, basically practically anything, and they saw All Might basically coming towards them, being stopped and started being pushed back, and then everything ramming into him. After doing that, she was basically just like, what happened? And Tokoyami told her, no matter, we run. Which they basically start and get to the finish line before All Might was able to kind of catch up to them. So after that happened, they basically asked her what she did, All Might as well, and she basically just said she wanted to stop him no matter what and push him back, no matter what she was using. She thought she would use probably one of the quirks she had, like her giant giantism. Thank you. She basically thought she would grow her hand and hit him, but then Bakugo tells her you should try and do that again with other stuff. Because if it's your Earth control and that it's not that, it would be good to know, right? Which Aizawa said, yeah, pretty good idea. So she tried to move other stuff by thinking, move that, and it was working. Then All Might basically explained that when she stopped him, he basically felt as if the gravity augmented by 100-fold practically. And so Nezu decided to ask for someone who could see the exact name of the quirk and the exact, well, not the exact name, but the exact capacity of the quirk. He found one, and when the person looked at her, this is when she saw copy quirk. I don't remember what's the name of Stain's quirk, but that name, permeation, shock absorption, regeneration, plant control, um, hardening, then, well, those are all under copy, well, perfect copy, basically, which she basically tells the name and then what it does, which she says, wait, I have 6? Then she looks for the first time in it and basically sees that she has 2 more slots. She basically deletes Stain's quirk because, yeah, she thought it was cool, but not really interested in it. Then she tells Bakugo, I'm copying your quirk again. Which he says, okay. Then the guy says, the 2 other quirks you have is giantism, which basically makes you grow. The more you train your quirk, the more it's going to grow. And the last one is called gravity control, which they say, oh, it basically says that anything that she thinks of controlling will be controlled, and by moving different part of, well, with her hand she can basically control form and stuff of the object by placing different gravitational pull around them, making them take shapes and stuff like that. And so on her, well, in her papers, they basically change Earth control to gravitational control. So yeah, I'm going to end it here with her basically discovering what her quirk really is and that she had 2 more. So hope you like this episode, this part. Um, it was supposed to come out tomorrow, and I was supposed to have a script for it, but I didn't have one. So hope it wasn't too bad. And yeah, so Natsu out.